Every garden should have a pond. Not only are ponds good for wildlife, but adding water to a garden instantly provides an atmosphere of relaxation. This is one I created this summer here in Place Park. Here is how it all began. After putting in the patio, we had 2 large beds. I knew I wanted to include a pond in one of them. The soil in this area was builder's rubble and heavy clay that had been compacted by heavy machinery during the house build. So the first step was to improve the soil. One sunny day in spring, I set to work. I dug over the soil and brought in many wheelbarrows full of well-rotted farmyard manure mixed with mushroom compost. The reason for combining these 2 different types of soil improvers is that manure is a little bit acidic whilst mushroom compost is slightly alkaline. So mixing the 2 means they balance each other out. I also added more soil from elsewhere in the garden. When the bed was full, it was time to start work on the pond. We have a heavy clay soil, which meant I could be quite sculptural, moulding the earth into the shape I wanted for the pond. I knew I wanted lots of different levels, with a deep central area and lots of shells for planting the sides. Next, I covered the entire area in sand. This is to protect the pond liner from being pierced by sharp stones that might be in the soil. I then used an underlay of fleece-like material for further protection, and then an eco-friendly pond liner made from rubber. Finally, I built up a layer of stone. I knew that I didn't want any of the liner to show, and this was the best solution. And then it was time for the water. It's best not to use tap water. I left out lots of buckets to catch rainwater, which I then poured into the pond. For once I was happy we had a wet summer. I topped this up with water from the nearby stream. It is also a good idea to add water from an existing pond, as this will introduce pond life. I included various pond plants, including a water lily in the deepest part. The slightly submerged plants you can see are called water soldiers. These sink to the bottom of the pond in winter and then float to the surface when the weather warms up. Pond plants are important as they provide oxygen and help prevent the pond turning green as a result of algae. Next, I planted up the area around the pond. I am particularly fond of the spiky plant in the background, which is a Rheum palmatum. It will provide a good architectural shape behind the pond. There are also a couple of tree ferns and a lovely lilac. I'll make another video going into more detail about the plants I've used next summer when they are more established. I also knew I wanted some kind of feature, and that was so I could have this rock emerging from the water, which I think has been quite successful. As we moved into autumn, the plants have started to fill the area nicely. Milo is enjoying the water bowl I've made especially for him. Here's how it all finally looked. If you've enjoyed this video, please click like And you are very welcome to subscribe and keep updated on how my garden develops.